Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Advocate Chauke. Good morning, Mr. Mhlongo.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Advocate Kwadobi, all is good?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
You may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Mhlongo.
Good morning, SC.
Mr. Mhlongo, let me remind you that you continue to be under oath, sir.
I do, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mhlongo, there's just a few loose ends from yesterday that I need to cover. Number one, you mentioned that Major General Boyson was aware or involved in your detention and was also aware of the threat to kill you. Do you remember that?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Can you explain why you say that?
It's because Major General Boyson was at the crime scene when Mr. Zondi was killed. And during the trial, it was established that the investigating officer was briefing the superiors, which will include Mr. Boyson. And there was a call that was made by my brother, as I mentioned yesterday, that my brother, W.S. Mhlongo, who was the head of the Hawks in KZN during the time, he phoned Mr. Boyson to tell him that I mustn't be killed under a false pretense that I have taken a gun or I've tried to take a gun from the police in the police cells. So he is aware because there was a communication with him from my brother, and my wife was present at the time.
Yes, and I mean, why would your brother tell him that you shouldn't be killed under a false pretense?
It's because he's a police. He knew how these Ketomena guys were operating.
Yes. And when did this happen? During your detention, before your detention, after your detention?
It was during my detention. I think it was a day where I was appearing in court on the 5th of February 2009. Sorry.
Yes. And what were the circumstances of that discussion between your brother? Your brother is Welcome Mhlongo.
That's correct, Chairperson.
So what were the circumstances in which Mr. Welcome Mhlongo ended up talking to Mr. Major General Boyson?
Because remember, on the 3rd, my family didn't know where I was up until the 4th in the evening, where I was able to make a call to my wife. Then they visited me or come and see me in the holding cells at Sydenham Police Station. Because it was late at night, they needed to come and check on me on the following day, which was on the 5th, because I had to go and appear before the court. During that time, after my court appearance at Umlazi, my brother drove to Ketomena and my wife to check if the vehicle was with them. And he told me that he's coming not to interfere with their investigation, take a gun or trying to fight with the police, because he knows that I'm not that kind of a person. And further, because Mr. Boyson was not there, he made a call to Mr. Boyson. But he was in the presence of my wife during that time.
Yes. So at the station, he found Mr. Olivier, and we know Mr. Olivier as being Vili Olivier, who was working at Ketomano as a captain.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes, as well as Mr. Van Tonder. We also know Mr. Van Tonder as one of the, I think, inspectors who was working at Ketomano.
That's correct. Van Tonder was a captain, and Olivier was a lieutenant colonel.
Yes, and then after that, he then calls Mr. Boyson. I was still asking, why he calls him, because he's spoken to 2 other people.
He told me that because he is the one who's responsible for
Yes.
these teams. So he wanted to inform him that he is aware, and he speak to them that they do that. They need to give me time to go to court and present my case if I am involved in that killing or the case that was arrested for.
Yes. And you also mentioned that your brother was involved in law enforcement.
That's correct, Chairperson.
In what capacity?
He was in charge of the Hawks in KZN during that time.
Was in charge of the Hawks in KZN.
That's correct, Chairperson.
So would that give him access then to the police station and access to Major General Boysen?
That's correct, because they were colleagues.
Yes. So you mentioned that call is what saved your life yesterday.
That's correct, Chairperson. I think that's a call that saved my life.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, there is also something else you wanted to expand on yesterday, and I said it was too early because we hadn't heard your story, which is that right now you also fear for your life. Is that correct?
Because currently we are having... That's correct, Chairperson.
Okay, can you just explain what you wanted to say? Oh, sorry, it looks like we cut off.
We are...
Okay. Look, I think there's a
I
connection
can
problem.
hear you clear this side.
Yeah, but we can't hear you. You break intermittently, and your screen is frozen.
I can see here underneath that I'm frozen, but on the top here, I can see myself. I'm able to speak.
All right, maybe let's continue. Let's see if it gets worse. So I'm saying that yesterday you mentioned that right now you fear for your life. Can you explain what you meant?
Chairperson, I have instructed my attorneys to request an interdict against the police because currently we are having a similar problem that happened around the time of 2000 Taxi Association, that is what Dugoza. We are having problems with them and the same tactic of influencing the police against me and the members of the association.
I can't hear whom he says is influencing the police. Would you please repeat that, Mr. Mhlongo?
I'm saying, Chairperson, what the Woza Standard Taxi Association have said, because there's also a fight between these two associations over the 3 routes now, which is Darenkop, Danel, and Matundube. And now the Standard Taxi Owners Association, they have started using the police to advance or do their dirty work. I was informed around early January this year that there was a meeting that was held between the Department of Transport in KwaZulu-Natal as well as the Standard Taxi Association over our routes. And that meeting escalated to the MEC of Transport in KZN on the 19th of January 2026. Furthermore, the Watuguza, or on the 27th of January 2026, there was a break-in in our office. Around 6 o'clock in the morning, Operation Chanela, there's a unit that is used called Chanela in KZN, the law enforcement from the Department of Transport, started impounding our taxis, even the ones that got the operating licenses. At 10 on the very same day, on the 27th, there was a takedown by the police, NIU, targeting the members of the Guamapumulo and they were taken to the police station and they were detained without a charge. During that time, the KwaDukuza Stenga Taxi Association started operating in our route. So for me, that means there was a really coordinated move in order to threaten us to surrender this route. And the police were used in order to assist KwaDukuza to advance what they wanted to advance.
Yes, well, I wanted you to explain why you say your life is under threat at the moment.
Chairperson, it's because I got the information that because I am the one who is stronger or who's standing firm to say this can't happen, and they are using the police. And this is not the first time. In 2023, there was a letter that was written to the police commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. There was a police surname from Gobozi who was going around saying that he wanted to kill me because I'm involved in the tenders at Richards Bay Coal, not Richards Bay Coal, the Richards Bay Minerals. And there was a person who was killed there. And because my companies and myself are never been involved in any dealings with RBM, I wrote a letter or instructed my attorneys to write a letter to the provincial commissioner, and they responded that they don't have any information that I was sought by the police. But recently, as I have mentioned that the police now, I've got the information as well that they are in a hunt for my head. I've written a letter to the police commissioner. They decided not to respond. Now we have went to the High Court I've instructed the attorneys that now that they go to court and seek for an interdict against the police.
Yes. So why are the police trying to kill you?
I think they are being instructed or trying to assist the KwaDukuza.
Yes. And which police are trying to kill you? Is there a section in the police, or is there a different individual that you can identify for the commission, for the panel?
I'm told that they will be using the National Intervention Unit.
Yes.
Sorry, before you proceed, can we get clarity? Mr. Mhlongo, you refer to KwaDukuza Stenga. Is it one association or is it two associations? Because I'm a bit lost. Thank you.
It's a one association. They are using two names. Because the name of the town was KwaDukuza. I mean, it was Stenga before. Now it was renamed to be KwaDukuza. So they changed the name to be KwaDukuza, but previously they've been known as Stenga Taxi Owners Association.
Yes.
So when you say KwaDukuza Stenga, it's the same thing?
It's the same thing, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So you say that you've brought an interdict. Has that already been instituted, or is it about to be instituted?
It has been instituted, Chairperson. Yesterday, I signed the affidavit that is going to, in fact, over the week, I think it was on a Friday, because first time we applied for it in court, they said it's not urgent. They said it's like agents.
Yes. And how are you surviving right now in terms of your security? I mean, we've seen in this case someone who once did what you've done. They were literally killed within days.
I'm having a large number of security. I've got 15 bodyguards currently. So it's costing me arm and a leg.
Yes. Well, I understand yesterday you were accompanied by the police to get to where you are.
That's correct, Chairperson. Even now, they are the ones, there's police that are guarding where I am at the moment.
Yes. Well, at least they can do some positive things. Thank you. Are you finished with what you wanted to say and I blocked you yesterday about your current security situation?
I think, Chairperson, it was important so that everyone can understand the severity of how the police are being used here in the province, and it's worrying, because even there was a shootout that happened on the 13th of March, which was on a Friday. I was called by the provincial commissioner to come and attend the meeting that he convened later in the afternoon. I told him that I'm 300 kilometers away where he was calling the meeting, and he was agitated because he felt that I'm not respecting him if he calls the meeting. And I even told him that, Commissioner, I'm staying far. I'm staying far in the north of the KwaZulu-Natal. So it's impossible for me to drive, and you have arrested my security guards. I'm not going to be able to drive without my bodyguards. And I sent 4 members of the executive committee to attend that meeting. And he kept on questioning them if they know where is my residence. So for me, that as well, it was disturbing, because I don't know why he wants to know where I am staying, and why he is questioning the members of my executive if they know where I stay.
Yes, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add on your security situation before we move on back to Kato Mano?
No, I think that one I'm covered, Chairperson.
All right, thank you very much. Can you go back then? Yes.
I'm sorry, Council. Mr. Mhlongo, where are you seated right now? Are you
seated.
Are you in an office of an attorney, or where are you?
I'm in court.
In court?
Yes.
Please explain to me.
I'm in court I'm not comfortable, Chair, to disclose the location of the court, but maybe the Nkabinde team.
Yes, I understand. But you said that you are under police guard right now?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And you feel safe?
For now, I can say I feel safe.
Yes.
Yes.
For now. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Can we go back then to where we left the proceedings yesterday? So we were at page 541 of your statement. We left at paragraph 203.
I'm there, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, you can skip that because we've sort of covered it, and go to the evidence of Captain Naika. We also dealt with that extensively yesterday when we looked at the recorded confession of Captain Naika. Into the judgment. We hadn't dealt with the judgment yesterday, which is at 544, correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Can you just take us through, it says here at paragraph 214, after hearing the evidence of the state witnesses in the trial within a trial, the High Court Begianda J delivered a detailed judgment concerning the lawfulness of my arrest, detention, warning statement, and pointing out. At paragraph 215, you deal with what the court found in relation to your arrest and detention on the 3rd of February 2009. What did the court conclude about the lawfulness of your arrest?
The court found that, Chairperson, that I was detained and arrested unlawfully because there was no evidence against me that give powers to the investigating officer to come arrest. The easier way to do it was for him to call me to the nearest police station and question me, but not to arrest. That was the finding of the court.
Yes, and what is interesting is at paragraph 216.2, which is if Warrant Officer Zungu had applied for the warrant of arrest, what did the court say would have happened?
The court find that, Mr. Zungu himself, he considered that if he had gone to court, the court was not going to grant him the warrant of arrest, for my warrant of arrest.
Yes, so that was the concession he gave in the evidence, in his
That's correct,
cross-examination. Yes.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, then, you remember yesterday we went through that purported warning statement in which they said certain rights were read out to you and you confirmed that you didn't want to exercise some of those rights, such as having a lawyer present. Remember that?
I remember that, Chairperson.
Now, that is dealt with at paragraph 218 of your statement. Can you just take us through there?
The court find that it was, remember there was letters that was sent to the officials or the senior management of the police requesting, which we have seen on the SM5 and SM3 and the likes, where our attorneys have requested from the police to say, if you want one of our members, you should consult us so that we can be present and advise if needs be. And in this instance, they were not conducted and they kept me in isolation and they didn't offer me an opportunity to be represented by my legal practitioner.
Yes. If you can go to page 5A 261, which is the portion of the judgment where this is dealt with.
5A61.
261.
261.
Are you there?
I'm just about 261. I'm there, Chairperson.
Yes, if you can just read from the top of that page, that's where the judgment deals with the importance of that communication that was written by Hlapane attorneys. Just read that for the record, please.
All of this was done in spite of the history in this matter, which has been set forward by the defense in two exhibits before the court during trial within a trial, namely Exhibit D and H, where there was a communication between the attorneys acting on behalf of the accused, especially the Mapuno Taxi Owners Association members and the authorities, including the Provincial Commissioner of the Police, the Provincial Head of Organized Crime Unit in the province, the Minister of the Police. In addition to this communication, there was also an application for an interdict to the court to prevent the police from harassing, assaulting, abusing members of the Mapuno Taxi Association, especially the members who applied for the relief. He is referred to the correspondence as Spamandla Mhlongo, and it is common cause that Spamandla Mhlongo was shortly killed. I think that's where there's an understanding.
So that was Bongani Mkhize.
That was supposed to be Bongani Mkhize.
Yes.
That was killed shortly after he applied for and obtained the interdict against the police.
Carry on.
But what is of special importance, Exhibits D and H, is that the police were told in no uncertain terms that the members of Wamapumulo Taxi Association were so petrified of the police that in the event of the police wanting to arrest any of their members, they should inform the attorney for the association. And those attorneys will bring the person or persons wanted by the police to the police for them to interview, question what happened. It was highlighted to them that these members of the Mapuno Taxi Association will want their attorney present when the police dealt with them. It was not disputed that the communication that I have referred to already, the accused name is in the list as one of the person who is to be dealt with in this fashion, suggested by the attorney, in spite of the accused was arrested and dealt with without his attorney being informed. And it is apparent from the evidence of the police witness who testified in this part of the trial that this information to which the counsel has made reference during the cross-examination and handed to the court as Exhibit D and H did not filter down to the rank and file to the police, especially members of the organized crime unit who were dealing with these sort of cases. The accused's rights of legal representation in these circumstances and against this background, in my view, were clearly infringed.
Yes, you can stop there. So what the judge is finding here is that the attorneys have said if they want to arrest people like yourself, they must notify the attorneys or people like Mr. Bongani Mkhize. And the judge says they didn't do that, and as a consequence, your rights to legal representations were clearly infringed. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, that is what is dealt with in your statement at paragraph 218, showing how crucial that correspondence was.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, the judge also makes another finding, which is that the senior employees of the police didn't communicate the correspondence. It did not filter down to the members of the Cato Manor unit. But one of the senior employees who clearly had access to the correspondence and the interdict was Major General Boyson. Is that correct?
That is correct, Chairperson.
Because he was a respondent, who was a deponent in that application and was clearly aware of the interdict, which he described yesterday, as we saw, as being a worthless interdict. So would he be one of the employees who were responsible for the communication of this interdict to the rank and file of the police?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And so when the judge is critical of the failure by the senior leadership of the police to ensure that the court order is communicated to the rank and file, would he be referring to one of them?
He should be referring to one of those senior management of the police, because as far as we understood it, it was sent to the senior officials.
Yes. Well, I mean, we know for a fact that Major General Boyson knew about it. And the judge finds that this was not communicated to the rank and file.
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, the judge also dealt with the warning statement. You remember that we dealt with the warning statement of Swayom Mkhize and how in the Umlazi case it was deemed inadmissible because it was a product of torture. Now, in your own case, you described how you were tortured to providing that warning statement in front of Captain Naika, with the so-called pointing out. You remember that?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And that matter then is dealt with from paragraph 220 of your statement.
That's correct, Chair.
And what does this say? What does your statement say in regard to that?
There were discrepancies in the recording time and places reflected on the document. Paragraph 220.2, the statement reflects that it was completed at Sydenham at 9 on the 4th February 2009, which was inconsistent with the investigation officer's version and would have been odd given the fact that I was out at the pointing out at that time.
Yes, carry on.
2.20.3, the investigating officer forced to testify that he had contacted my partner on the 3rd of February 2009. Objective cell phone record demonstrated that no such call was made.
Yes, if you can just stop here. Yesterday you gave evidence and we went through your warning statement where it is claimed that you did contact your partner at 7 p.m. on the 3rd. And you said that was false.
That was false because the cell phone records that were obtained it shows that the call was only made on the 4th around 18:30, where Mr. Zungu met me for the first time.
Yes. And the judge also confirmed that the claim by Mr. Zungu was a lie, that your partner had been contacted at 7 p.m. on the 3rd of February 2009, correct?
That is correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, then at 220.4, we also dealt with this yesterday, but what were the findings of the judge on that score?
The officer failed to rule off the statement in a manner that will prevent later insection. We spoke about it yesterday, Chairperson. You remember, Member Khaga asked if I have been a police before. I said no, but it's just a common knowledge that if you want to block and not to allow anyone to interfere or add something, you just have to cross the lines, as I have mentioned. So that we've seen for ourselves as we went through the statement of, or as we went through the statement of Mr. Naika as well.
Yes, but no, the point is, what did the judge find on that score?
He found that it was incorrect to leave it open like that.
Thank you very much. Now, then the judge also made another finding at 220.5. What was that finding?
The statement recorded that I elected to remain silent, yet simultaneously I elected to participate in the pointing out contradiction the court regarded as improbable.
Yes, we went through your statement yesterday where there was one part which says you will provide a statement and then another part which says you will remain silent.
That's correct, Chairperson, because that was done because they wanted me. For me, I believe it was a way of them trying to see which one can implicate me. Then they decided, no, we're going to stick to the pointing out. But I think they were keeping their options open.
Yes, thank you. Then there is another finding which we haven't yet covered so far in evidence, which is at paragraph 221. Can you deal with that?
The court concluded that the investigating officer elected improperly in taking the warning statement before I had been charged, and in circumstance where no evidence existed against me.
Yes, meaning what? That a warning statement can only be taken after you've been charged.
That's correct, Chairperson. That's what the lawyers advised me of.
Yes, and then they take a warning statement before you are charged.
That's correct, Chairperson, because I was only charged after the pointing out later on the 4th.
Yes, and the judge found that Warrant Officer Zungu acted improperly by taking a warning statement before an accused is charged.
That is correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, so far we have very, very serious findings made by a judge of the High Court against the conduct of the police, implicating very senior officers, including Warrant Officer Zungu and senior officers who failed to communicate the court order. Do you know if any action was ever taken against them, despite the findings of a judge in your case?
I don't know of any, Chairperson.
Yes. I mean, the people like Warrant Officer Zungu, are they still employed in the police?
I am not sure. That maybe I have to still check on it, but the way I saw him the last time I saw him, because this happened around 2009, that's like more than 15 years ago. So it might happen that maybe he's retired, but I'm not sure.
Yes, but if they retired, then they left on good terms. He was a good liver, not that he was disciplined.
I haven't heard of anything that suggests that he was being disciplined for this case.
And the evidence in your case also showed that there was something improper done by the then Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Elaine Zungu, for making a handwritten insertion on an affidavit, which insertion was false. Do you know if anything happened against her?
I don't know of any, Chairperson.
Yes. But this was all a public trial. Everyone watched your trial. It was in open court.
That's correct, Chairperson. It was an open court.
Yes. Then we have a number of other people that were involved. Captain Naika. We have a number of people involved in your torture. Mr. Van Tonder, Mr. Mostert, Mr. Maharaj, Mr. Pandey. All of those people are implicated in your trial, and it is a public trial, and findings are made against them by the judge. Did anything happen to them?
I don't know of anything that has happened to them. And maybe to add on that, there was Mdlalose and Warrant Officer Tata Mdlalose, as well as Mkhwanazi, who was a sergeant, whom were the ones that were threatening me all the way from Stenga to Durban, the ones that were driving that grey BMW.
Yes. Yes, but I mean, all of that evidence that they purported to collect against you was rejected as inadmissible because it violated the law and it violated your rights. But up until now, we don't know if those people are still within the police. We know at least one of them received a promotion. She's now the DPP.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. All right, thank you. So that deals with the warning statement and the discrepancies we saw yesterday in the trial and what the judge found. Then you were accompanied on the 4th of February 2009 at about 9 o'clock to a so-called pointing out, which you said was a sham because you had no clue where you were going. You remember
That's
that?
correct, Chairperson.
How you
That's
deal
correct,
with that? Yes, you deal with that from paragraph 222, which is how the judge dealt with the pointing out. Now, paragraph 222 says the court identified serious irregularities in relation to the pointing out conducted on 4 February 2009. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And what were those irregularities that dealt with from paragraph 223.1?
Some of the things that was raised by the judge was the fact that Mr. Naika was not supposed to be part of that pointing out because he's attached to the same unit, which is a serious and violent crime unit.
Yes, we saw that yesterday when he was questioned. In fact, not only when he was questioned, in his own insertion, he says, I'm from serious and violent crime. And you look at the other officer who's brought you there, he's also from serious and violent crime. Yes. And there is no independent person doing the pointing out.
That's correct, Chairperson.
All right. Paragraph 223.2.
This included the failure to secure a genuine independent commissioner,
yes,
as we have dealt with that. Maybe the proper way was to take me to the judge or to the magistrate to do the confession or do the pointing out, but they opted for a person who's attached to the same unit.
Yes, thank you. We've dealt with that. 223.2, the following page.
The denial by the officer that they had met prior to the pointing out, despite evidence establishing that they had in fact met and discussed the matters.
Yes, I mean, that's part and parcel of the fact that this is done by the same unit. That's why they're meeting beforehand.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes.
That's correct, Chairperson, because as I was picked up at Sydney, I found Naika and Ndlovu at the office. They were already discussing the matter, and the judge was not happy about it, that they discussed the matter before I was taken out for the pointing out.
Yes, thank you. 223.3.
Documentation reported that my rights were explained to me was completed at 12:30 on the 4th, 2000, after the pointing out had already been taken. We dealt about this yesterday, that all these pages that were filled were done after I was taken to the pointing out. That is why you see at the end that the time where these forms were filled, it was exactly around half past 12. So the pointing out was already being done, and this was supposed to happen prior, and the warning statements and the rights should have been read out to me before I was taken to the pointing out, to do the pointing out.
Yes, yeah, we covered that yesterday, but your point is that it was also the finding of a judge that it was an irregularity.
That's correct, Chairperson.
And 223.4?
The fact that I was unable to locate the scene without the assistance, as we will see in the testimony of Naika, he conceded that we had to ask a number of people in order for us to find the correct crime scene. As I have said it yesterday, that for me, what was important was to see the damaged railings on the side of the road. If I see that, I will ask them to stop and show this is the crime scene, and they will explain further as the police are aware that it should be the road markings where the bullet shell will be found. So we ended up looking for this area for the longest time.
Yes, but I mean, the fact that you couldn't even identify the area, this shows why this entire pointing out was a sham. But at that point, the police should have known that you don't know what you're doing.
That's correct, Chairperson, because even during the time that we were talking in the vehicle, they were asking me questions, and I was telling them that, no, guys, I don't know this area. I've never been in the area. And it's because I was beaten, and I had to try and locate this area.
Yes, and the judge also made the same finding, that you couldn't identify the area without assistance.
That's correct, Chairperson.
223.5?
I beg your pardon.
The scene, it's...
Sorry, Mr.
Mr.
Mhlongo.
Mhlongo, I'm sorry, just give
Yes.
me a second. The reference in the footnote to the transcript does not seem to be correct. For instance, just look at footnote 45 to 48. References are made to page 90, 190, 190, 190 to 191, and the lines there, 191 is the front page of the transcript. I think it's a continuation. Just look at it.
Okay, it looks like... all right, sorry. Just, let me just get clarity. I don't know, Madam Chair. So.
Yes, but I think
Oh, no. What I am told, Madam Chair, is that the numbers there, 190, are numbers of the original numbers of the original transcript, and not the pagination that has been given for this panel.
well, I don't know about the original number. I'm just looking at what I have right
Yes.
now.
No, I understand. So 190 would be at 5A266.
190 will be at
5A266.
5A266.
Yes, and 191 would be at 5A267.
Yes. Meaning that the original numbering is that 190 there.
Yes. That's what I understand to be the case.
Yes.
Yes. That's correct, yes.
Because I was looking at the paginated numbers.
No, I'm told that's not the correct numbering, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mhlongo, we were dealing with 223.5 of your statement. Now, that's in relation to the publicity of the scene. Why would the scene be known already publicly?
It's because it was covered by all the newspapers as well as the electronic media as far as mid January, because the shooting incident happened on the 22nd of January. So even on the news later on the day, the scene was also known because it was shown on the TV and on the newspapers.
But you also knew it from that source as well, because you recalled that there were damaged railings, which you had seen
That's
from
correct.
the media.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And then 223.6.
The only potential incrimination aspect of the pointing out consisted of alleged utterances attributed to me.
Yes.
That as well was the fact that Mr. Naika asked questions, and remember, by the time in so-called the filling up of that statement, I said I will remain silent. Then the question is, how can I remain silent when I was asked question and I responded? So that was the question from the judge, that how come that I said I will remain silent. On the other hand, now I have asked and I have I've given answers to the questions. And that as well, which was not true, because I was never asked anything. That was just Naika building his case for his friends.
Yes, actually that's dealt with if you go to the transcript at 5A267. Are you there?
Yes, I'm 267.
Yes. And that is the third line, and that's in the judgment of Judge Giyanda.
That's correct, Chairperson. I'm there.
Yes. So he says here, so the pointing out of the sin does not in itself help the state one iota. The only assistance that the state was able or would have been able to get had this pointing out been declared admissible is the utterances of the accused at the time he did the pointing out. Can you say that?
That is correct, Chairperson.
And that's the
That
only
is
thing
correct,
that would have
Chairperson.
incriminated you are your own words.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, and then the judge also dealt with Captain Bobby Naika's evidence and the irregularities that he committed. And that is at 224.1, 224.2, and 224.3. Can you deal with those?
That he questioned me during the pointing out. That is what I have explained, that he, one hand he says I will remain silent. On the other hand, he's asking question and I responded. That is where it was really confusing, Chairperson.
Yes, so if you go back to that page, I think the judgment is clearer than your statement. If you go back to that page, 5A267.
I'm there, Chairperson.
So after line 10, so 10, 11, 12, so where it starts with in addition, can you see that?
I can say that, Chairperson.
So just read that out to the record.
In addition, it is quite clear from the evidence of Captain Bobby Naika that he knew that he was not entitled in law to question the accused. During the process of pointing out, in the first place, he did not caution the accused of the right to remain silent and not to answer questions without the intervention of his attorney. And for that reason alone, he ought not to have asked the accused any question. It is not disputed. And in fact, Captain Bobby Naika acknowledged that the fact that, but for his questioning, there will have been no utterances from the accused that will be said to implicate him in the commission of this offense. Yes. In addition, he acknowledged that his question of the accused in these circumstances was in direct contravention of the Judge Rule 2 and 4, which prohibits such questions, so that answer from impermissible and unlawful questioning cannot be used by the state to help its prosecution of the accused.
Yes. To sum up.
Yes. To sum up, therefore, in my view, the evidence that the state wants this court to rule to be admissible against the accused is so much pathetic rather than poor quality. That is in open of this court to say enough is enough, and not to insist upon the accused and their witnesses to go and testify in support of their version in relation to the admissibility of the statement. Even if the accused and his witnesses were to go to the witness box and testify and cover themselves ignominy rather than the glory by being the worst witnesses in the world, there is no basis whatsoever upon which I can find that the evidence tendered by the state is support of the version that the state was made freely and voluntarily by the accused. In this sound and sober senses, without him having been unduly influenced thereto. In the light of the comments that I have already made relating to the conduct of the police, in my view, and in the light of the fact that the arrest of the accused was unlawful in circumstances where the police had no evidence against him, his arrest and subsequent detention were clearly unlawful. And all the evidence obtained as a result of unlawful arrest and detention cannot be relied upon, especially since Zungu considered that the only reason to arrest the accused was the hope that he might something to implicate himself. In their desire to obtain some evidence against the accused, they trampled roughshod over all his rights. I am of the view, therefore, the light of the evidence of the state, the witnesses alone, that I can say at this stage there is insufficient evidence to prove that the accused did, in fact, make an admissible pointing out in this case. We all understand the seriousness of the case which the accused has been charged with, but as a civilized society, we have to protect even the accused person's right to ensure that they are not short of. In the final result, I am constrained in the light of the evidence to rule that the pointing out purported done by the accused by Obinaika is inadmissible in evidence against him for the reason I have already enumerated.
Yes, thank you. I mean, these are really, really serious findings made against the entire police service. That they rode roughshod over your rights. They tried to implicate you in a crime that they knew you were not implicated in. And then they extracted a confession under false pretenses and under torture. As you say, you don't know if those people are still there in the police, but Mr. Chauke is here facing a charge for trying to do the right thing. Now, after the declaration by a judge that the false confession against you was inadmissible, and that's written there in capital, what did the prosecutor say, Mrs. Greef?
Mrs. Greef, as the court pleases, my lord, there is no further evidence that the state can present. I close the state case.
Yes. So their entire case was hanging upon the confession obtained under torture.
That's correct, Chairperson.
And this is the point, Mr. Mhlongo. You know, your confession and the confession of Swayo, both obtained under torture, then became the basis upon which a lot of people were killed in relation to the murder of Mr. Zondi. Mr. Mkiza was killed in those circumstances, Mr. Ndimande was killed in those circumstances. But the police knew that those confessions were illegal confessions.
It is true, Chairperson, and it pains me to know that the police had to do whatever they have done, and they have left the offense. Mkiza, he was a family man, and his family is suffering even today because he's no more. And even the demands, and I've met them since I've become the chairperson. They've come to me with a lot of pain in their hearts. And even my family as well is still suffering from what has happened to me.
Yes. And once the state closed its case, your advocate applied for a Section 174 discharge. Is that correct?
That is correct, Chairperson.
And the judge took one paragraph to grant the Section 174 discharge.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And that at 5A270, he says you are entitled to acquittal and you are found guilty and discharged. Found not guilty and discharged.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, so that covers the next 3 pages up to 549. I want you to read paragraph 232 of your statement.
Paragraph 232, the statement which had been prepared by the Ketomena police for me in the pointing out contains some of the names that were subsequently killed by the same unit, including Bongani Mkiza at the time the chairperson of the association, Skan Ndimande, Sfiso Ndimande, Tobekani Mkiza, another name also inserted by the Ketomena police in the confession of Swayo, included that of Makojela Ndimande, who also later killed. The Ketomena unit knew that these people were not involved in the killing of Inkosi Zondi. General Boysen specifically knew that they were not involved, as he was personally responsible to oversee the investigation of the killing of Inkosi Zondi. As per instructions, they were alleged were communicated by the KZN Provincial Commissioner Hamilton Ngidi. In that capacity, there is a lot that he knew about my own ordeal and how the false confession was obtained from me. Added to that fact, my own brother called him about my situation. He was aware of the conduct of the members of the Ketomena unit in relation to the killing of the people that were innocent.
Thank you. Is that what you were talking about? That a lot of people were linked to the murder of Mr. Zondi by the false confessions of yourself and Mr. Swayo, and those people were killed by the Ketomena unit?
That's correct, Chairperson, because Bongani Mkiza was killed on the day that I was arrested on the 3rd at Umgeni Road, and I was informed that one of the Ndimande brothers was killed in Pine Town, and the other one was killed in Northwest, and Swayo Mkiza was granted a bail, and he was shot and killed in the shack at Kwamashu. So those are the people I believe were killed because there was these confession statements, false confession statements that was obtained by the police, and subsequently these people were killed.
Yes, and Mr. General Boysen himself says so in his book, that the only link to Mr. Zondi's killing was the confession by Mr. Swayo Mkiza, which linked Mr. Bongani Mkiza. And he says
correct,
before then they had no evidence at all.
That is correct, Chairperson, and that also was confirmed by Mr. Zungu. If we go through his cross-examination, he considered that he didn't have any evidence against myself, Swayo, and Mr. Mkiza.
Yes. All right, thank you. And then you deal with life after your case. You want to deal with that briefly from 233 to 237?
233, following the conclusion of the criminal proceeding, I instituted civil actions against South African police arising from my arrest, detention, and treatment in custody. The matter was untimely settled out of court in approximately 2016 for the total amount of 2.8 million. Chairperson, yes, it is what has happened, and unfortunately, I've tried to get the documents from my attorney who was doing the civil matter for me, and he told me, and Mr. Nkabinde as well, we tried to communicate with him in order for him to provide us with all the documents, and unfortunately he said it's after 5 years the documents were destroyed. But that I can confirm that the state has settled an amount of 2.8 million for the damages and the trauma that I went through.
But did they even oppose the case, and did it go to trial?
That's correct, Chairperson. It was settled out of court because they knew that if they go to court, we were looking for a bigger amount.
Yes. That's the point. That they didn't even go to trial to justify themselves.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. All right, thank you. So you got a damages claim of 2.8 million rands, and the attorney who acted for you in that case can't find the records. It's too long ago.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And then your criminal case was concluded with an acquittal. You then left KwaZulu-Natal. Why?
It was because there was a threat that was consistent. My family went through a lot during the time. I think there are certain pages that we have omitted where it will appear that my family was attacked by the police. It was around August 2009 where they came to my house, or my mother's house, so to speak, because at the time I didn't have a house. They broke the doors, they took stuff, and the case was opened at Mapumulo police station, and there was nothing that was done about it because they came and they said they were looking for the gun that killed Inkosi Zondi. So they were calling themselves the police, but for me, it's I can't prove it if it exactly it was the police, but as they were coming to the house, they introduced themselves as the police.
Okay, well, is that at page 5/28 that you're saying there were pages that were skipped?
Can't remember where we
well, look at 528.
528.
Where do I find 528?
5/28 of the statement, Madam Chair. Yes.
That's correct, Chairperson.
All right. Well, okay. Well, what do you want to say about that? I don't want to skip pages that you feel are important.
Yeah, it is important, Chairperson, that my family as well went through the worst experience during my incarceration. That my mother suffered. She had just gone through the operation in the head because she was beaten in the head by the barrel of a gun. And she suffered from then, and she never recovered. They recently done, and she was immobile for the longest time. Just now that she's able to walk slowly, but she suffered through that trauma she got during the time when these so-called police came and raided my mother's house to look for that gun.
Yes. Well, I mean,
yeah, and there was nothing that was done on that matter. As you will see, I have given the case number, case 7508/2009, and there was no follow-up or any reports that was given to my family about this situation.
All right. Is that all you want to say about the ordeal of your family?
I think that it is, and yeah, I've suffered more. I've suffered more because at some point, the association, there was no leader in it. They were unable to pay my legal fees. I had to sell a couple of vehicles in order for me to pay for my legal fees.
Yes. Thank you very much. So I was still at paragraph 236, just to understand that of your statement, which is at 5/50, for you to give evidence about why you had to leave KwaZulu-Natal after the conclusion of your criminal trial.
I had to leave because, Chairperson, there was also a threat that, remember, Swayo was given a bail and he was killed. So my family felt that if I remain in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, I might be assassinated as well again, so or be killed by these members of the Ketomena. So they said, let me move out of the province. Then I moved out of the province. I spent some time in the Northern Cape. Then I moved to Pretoria, ended up working for Transnet. I moved to Mpumalanga, then ended up in Richards Bay.
Yes, and you only returned in 2021.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes, after more than 10 years.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes, thank you. Then you have certain conclusory statements you make from paragraph 232 up until 248. I think most of those we've covered already, unless there's something there that you've picked up you have not covered.
I think I'm covered, Chairperson.
Thank you. And then in paragraph 249, you say you make the statement in good faith.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Do you have anything else you wish to add, or are you happy that you've said your piece?
Let me thank the Commission for the opportunity to state my case. Hopefully it will assist and maybe those who are in power to look into this ordeal where the members of Mapumulo Taxi Owner Association has suffered. It's been long, and if these situations are not attended to, it will give those who are able to manipulate the systems of the government to continue doing whatever they are doing now. As I have said it, that we are experiencing the similar situations at the moment. Even if I pass on, the generation that will come after me will know that I have come out and state this case on behalf of the members of the Mapumulo Taxi Owner Association, because this is not about me, but it's about the families that they have lost their members, their fathers, their spouse, their husbands, and the community in general. They have lost good leaders at some point.
Thank you, Mr. Mhlongo. Madam Chair, I have no further questions. That's what. Thank you, Madam Chair. No further questions.
Thank you, Advocate Toby. Advocate Mchweni, are you ready to start?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Babu Mhlongo, good morning.
Before you do that,
Good morning, good morning.
Advocate, I beg your pardon, Mr. Mhlongo, your evidence
Madam
in
Chair.
chief has just ended, and we will afford one of the evidence leaders a chance to ask you questions. And if a need arises, we will also ask you further questions.
No problem, Chairperson.
You may proceed, Counsel.
Yes. Babu Mhlongo, good morning again.
Good morning, Msenzweni.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. Babu Mhlongo, I just have a few questions for you. And the first one being is you mentioned in your statement that you suffered at the hands of the Ketomena squad on the date of your arrest. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And you also say in the introductory part of your statement that you had familiarized yourself with the terms of reference of this inquiry.
That's correct, Chairperson.
That would be at paragraph 6.
That's correct, Chairperson.
And you aware that the inquiry is investigating the conduct of Advocate Chauke in relation to his involvement in the decision-making relating to the prosecution of the Ketomena squad for, amongst others, racketeering charges in August 2012.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes, and then that amongst the predicate charges which the members of the Ketomena squad were charged with the dockets related to the Peggy Temba case which you were arrested under.
That's correct, Chairperson.
But then that charge did not relate to your assault and torture.
That's correct.
So therefore, insofar as your involvement is concerned, the Ketomena squad were never charged with any of the violations that occurred to you.
They were not charged for the Peggy Temba case, but remember, there's extension here of Mr. Bongani Mkhize, who was killed because he was purported as the person who was involved in this matter.
No, I'm talking about in relation to you, Mr. Spamandla Mhlongo.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And I take it that this, other than you having ventilated your plight in your plight having been ventilated in the criminal case before, in your criminal case as well as in your lawsuit, this is the first time that you've come out to speak about your ordeal.
In fact, this is not the first time, Chairperson. At some point in 2011 or 2012, there was people or persons I could remember we've met. I had to travel all the way from Emelo to KwaMaphumulo. I've met a guy named of Mabuya or Mabunda. I can't remember his surname.
Would it be Mabula?
I've narrated the story, Mabula or Mabunda. He came, I could remember he was driving a grey Q5. And I've met him at Maphumulo because I was not comfortable for him to come where I was residing. I drove all the way to Maphumulo and I gave him my side of the story. And I don't know why he never contacted me thereafter. But all this, I've told this commission, I've told Mabuya or Mabunda.
I assume that
I'm
would...
sorry, Council. We are getting disrupted again. Do try again, Mr. Mhlongo. Council, did you understand the answer to your question?
Indeed, Madam Chair. In a nutshell, do I understand you to be saying that there was a gentleman called Mabula, I think it would be General Mabula, who came and you spoke to him at the Maphumulo police station?
No, it was not at Maphumulo police station. There was a place called Wachopo where we met because I was not comfortable because he called me. I didn't know where he found my number, but he called and we arranged that we met him because he told me he was coming from national office. He's investigating the conduct of these Ketomena people.
It looks like, Madam Chair, the connection is terrible. Are you able to hear us, Mr. Mhlongo? Because on our side, you're frozen.
I'm hearing you nice and clear. It's just that the picture underneath here is frozen.
Just a minute, Council. Just a minute. Would you please help us over there?
Good morning, Madam Chair. It seems like he is experiencing network problems because our network today it is very stable.
Madam Chair, can we stand down?
Thank you, sir. I don't see our spokesperson here. Will somebody, Madam Colin, if you can locate the spokesperson, we may have to adjourn for a few minutes so that you can address this challenge from KZN. And when you are ready, Advocate Mcheni, do send a message.
We'll do so, Madam Chair.
The spokesperson will come and try to communicate with the KZN people. Let us know when you are ready.
We'll do, Madam Chair.
We will adjourn for a few minutes.
Into the torture and
Chairperson, good day to you, Chairperson.
You continue to be under oath. You may proceed, Advocate Mcheni.
thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mhlongo, just before we were technologically interrupted, you were asking. I asked you a question whether is this the first time that you came out and told anyone about your ordeal. And insofar as I may have gotten your response, and I speak under correction, was that you had at some point met with a gentleman called Mabu or something. Do you recall that?
I do recall, Chairperson.
And is my recollection correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, what I want to find out from you is, did you make a statement to Mabula, the gentleman you spoke to?
No, there was a note that he was taking during our discussion, but there was no formal statement that was asked, that was procured from me.
Yes. And you never spoke to the prosecutors who had been appointed to oversee the prosecution of the Ketomena squad?
No,
And therefore, would I be correct to say you were not lined up as one of the witnesses to testify against the Ketomena squad?
that's correct.
Yes. And then the second aspect that I just want to clarify with you, it's in relation to the torture and assault of, I would call him Mr. Swayo.
Yes, Chair.
As I understand, your evidence is that whilst you were at the Gauteng station, the only time that you saw Swayo, I use the word at the Gauteng station after your arrest, the only time that you saw Swayo was when he was brought in and had a gun put against his head. And when he told you that just admit whatever they say you should admit to. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And the next time you saw Swayo was when you went to court.
No. I went to court, then I was transferred to Westville. I requested Westville because I knew that they wanted to keep me at Sydenham, but because of the information that I received from one of the detainees said, or advised me that I need to raise my hand in court and request Westville, because if I remain at Sydenham, they will come and book me out at night, be beaten, or might be killed. So I raised a hand in court at Umlazi that I requested to be housed in Westville. That's where I met Swayo on that particular day.
Yes. So the next time after you had seen Swayo at the Gauteng station, the next time you saw him was at the Westville prison.
That's correct, Chair.
So therefore, would I be correct to say you never witnessed Mr. Swayo being assaulted or tortured?
Hence, I have said that there was a gun in his head, and he was kicked in front of me.
But you never mentioned that in your evidence in chief. All you said was that...
No, Madam Chair, I apologize. That's just wrong. He did mention it.
Okay, okay. Other than the kick, those were the only incidents of assault or torture on Swayo that you witnessed?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And would I be correct that you never witnessed and were not present when Swayo made his statement?
Yes, I was not there, Chairperson.
Yes. And now, speaking on that, you said that there was evidence during your trial that in Umlazi, Swayo had in separate proceedings made a statement that the confession that was extracted from him was extracted through assault. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
But
Mr. Mchweni, you are continuing very fast. There was an objection to your questioning, and I could not even make a ruling on it, whether I sustain the objection or not, and you are running so fast.
I apologize, Madam Chair. I think maybe I should have explained on the record. I accept the correction by Mr. Nkabinde in case if I missed that part.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Objection is sustained. Thank you.
Yes. Now, Mr. Mhlongo, you were not present when Swayo made those statements in court. Am I correct?
That statement in court, I was there. Remember, we were accused. I appeared with Swayo. I appeared alone on the 4th of February 2009. On the next appearance, we were together, and we had to be remanded for 7 days so that we can apply for formal bail applications. During that time, my attorney, Mr. Abdul Karim, he was there, and he should be in the position of that statement that was made by Swayo. And if he maybe conduct Tlapane attorneys, because they were the one who was representing Swayo on the matter.
Yes. Now, the reason I'm asking this is if one looks at the judgment, I'm just going to ask you to go to your bundle at 5A-269.
I'm there, Chairperson.
If you look at the pronouncement, is the panel there, Madam Chair?
Is it 5A269?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel.
I'm just going to, for the sake of time, do you see the pronouncement by the judge that says, in the final result, I'm constrained in light of the evidence to rule that the pointing out purportedly done by the accused to Captain Bobinaika is inadmissible as evidence against him for reasons I've already enumerated. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Now, to find out from you, was there a similar pronouncement made by the court in Umlazi in relation to the confession made against by Mr. Swayo?
In Umlazi, the case was, we were only, during the time that we were in Umlazi, we were just there for bail hearing. And Swayo, subsequently to that, he was granted a bail and he was killed.
No, the point I'm making is that, do you have any judicial pronouncement on the admissibility of Swayo's confession that you may be aware of?
I know the statement. There was a statement during my bail application that Swayo did confirm that he only gave my name to the police because he was coerced, he was beaten.
I understand that, Mr. Mhlongo. The question is, are you aware of any ruling or pronouncement either by a magistrate or a judge that Swayo's confession was inadmissible?
No, I don't know of.
Yes. So you cannot confirm whether, as a matter of fact, Swayo's confession was declared inadmissible.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, the other topic that I want to clarify with you, you've made a statement. In your statement, you list a number of people. In fact, let me just find it. Who you say were killed as a result of the confession that was unlawfully extracted from you and Swayo. That would be at paragraph 232. Do you see that?
232.
Yes, and then page 5-49 of your statement.
-49. I'm there, Chairperson.
Yes. And you name Mr. Mkhize, Scan Demanded, Fison Demanded, Tozane Mkhize, and Swayo. Do you see that?
That's correct. That's correct, Chairperson.
And I just want to take you insofar as, am I correct to understand that you also blame the Cato Mena squad for the murder of Swayo?
That's correct, Chairperson.
But just to be fair on the Cato Mena squad and to you, there's a document that will be flighted to you now. Madam Chair, is the annexure to Advocate Mayema's statement on page 244 GSM 23. I had asked your assistants to make sure that the document is available to you. And Mr. Mahlakwane will beam that document shortly.
Thank you, Council.
Mr. Mhlongo, do you see that document that has been flighted?
Yes, I can see.
That's a statement by a person called Simpiwe Cyprian Matonzi.
That's correct.
And Mr. Matonzi tells us that in 2004, he was employed by Excalibur VIP, protection guarding the taxi rank of Stenger. Do you see that in paragraph 2?
That's correct, Chairperson.
And then, other than him telling us how the Stenger Taxi Association used to pay the Cato Mena squad, at paragraph 10, that would be on page 245, he said, he talks about how the murder of Konko was orchestrated. He says, I heard them talking about the plan to kill Superintendent Konko. Sandele and Bongisiwe arranged with someone who was a member of Mapumulo Taxi Association to organize a hitman for Konko. Sanele and Bongisiwe did not want to arrange or hire hitmen themselves. They, Sanele, wanted it because to be seen as Mapumulo are the ones that planned killing Superintendent Konko. Hitman for Konko was Kopolota, Lim Tembo, Swayo, and others. Do you see that?
That's correct, Chair.
Was Swayo a member of what you call Kwamapumulo Taxi Association? Your association,
Sorry?
basically. Because I know that I'm confused as well, that there is Stenga and maybe you can just clarify.
Okay, let me take you through this. There is inconsistency in this statement. Why I'm saying so? During this time, this occurrence is happening. There will be no way where a member of Kwamapumulo will be in contact with the members of Kwadukuza or Stenga Taxi Association, because it was in the height of the fight between these two associations.
No,
And
Mr. Mhlongo, can I just interrupt? I am not asking you to comment on the correctness or otherwise of what is in the statement. The reason I'm taking this statement is I just want to show you the circumstance under which Swayo was killed, because it's detailed in the
Chairman,
document.
Chairperson, I think the context is important so that if I give you an answer, you understand where I come from. Yes, I see the statement, and the statement is made, but where I am sitting and my understanding is that Swayo was killed in the house with a high caliber firearms, and there was no one who has been arrested for his murder, and there is no one who will take accountability. And for me, the only people or the only people who were against him or he had a problem with was this Ketomena people, because he changed shortly after he changed his statement to say that I was not part of the people who killed Nkosi Zondi. He was granted bail. Then shortly after that he was killed. I don't think he spent even 2 weeks outside after he has been released on bail.
Yeah.
That is why I'm saying I'm suspecting. I'm not saying it's a fact, but my suspicion says it should be Ketomena.
Now, just go to paragraph 12. He says, during my time, I was told that Edm Singer Homestead of Sanele and his brother Nkosi
Sorry,
Chief.
Advocate Mtweni, just to be fair to the witness, read even paragraph 11 for context. Sorry, I'm told my mic was too far. For context and to be fair to the witness, please let's read even paragraph 11.
We'll do so, Madam Advocate Mary. Okay, let's just go to paragraph 11. Ketomena unit was also part of the plan. Konko was gunned down. After the killing of Konko, Ketomena started killing all hitmen behind the killing of Konko. I heard Sanele saying he had a list of all people that needed to be killed by Ketomena. Bongani Mkhize was the chairperson of Mapumulo Taxi Association. He was also on the hit list and he was the last person to be killed. It was difficult for Ketomena to get Mkhize because of the reporting Mkhize did to high authorities. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Yes, but now the reason the paragraph I'm about to tell you talks about how the killing of Bongeleni Zondi came about. It says, during my time, I was told that Edm Singer Homestead of Sanele and his brother, Nkosi Chief Bongeleni Zondi, there was a hotel, Home Affairs and Game Reserve. Office park around their homestead was named after Bongeleni Zondi. I think even today the office is named after Bongeleni Zondi. Bongeleni was the acting chief. Bongeleni was about to be given the position to be the full-time chief. Sanele was not happy with that. Sanele used to complain that to me that he was not happy because Bongeleni was about to be given the position to be chief, right? And then he says, Bongeleni Zondi was gunned down. Swayo was arrested and granted bail. Within a short period of Swayo was gunned down too. I heard saying, "Ngaishaya Nkabinde yakhala emjondolo," close quote, meaning that he hit the hitman and cried inside the shack, referring to Swayo, who was killed inside the shack. Do you see that?
I see that.
Yes, there's no mention or reference made to the Ketomena squad being the ones who shot Nkabinde emjondolo yakhala.
Chairperson, Zondi, in the evidence that have been presented in this court, in this forum, it has been mentioned that they were paying these members of the cattle manor, doing their dirty work, as it has been mentioned in part of the statement. So for me, my interpretation is that it can't be Zondi himself who conducted this hit. There were people, the people that I suspect will be cattlemen.
Yes. So, but I take you don't have concrete evidence to support that suspicion, am I correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now,
Is that in relation to Mr. Swayo?
yes, Swayo. Now, Mr. Zondi, Mr. Mhlongo, are you aware of the circumstances which surrounded the killing of all these other members of Cato Manor? That would be Mr. Mkhize and the others?
We were told that they were sought by the police. The cases that were popular at the time that they were said they were looked for or they were sought for, it was the case of Superintendent Kono. Those cases, I think, will start from Lebu Telesi, who was killed earlier. The second casualties, it should be Mr. Ndimande and his bodyguard, Mr. Tembe. The third one will be Mr. Ntuli Kopolota with Wilson Mtembu in Mandini. Later on, Nkhize, who I was with him on the day he was taken by the police. He was killed somewhere in Scottbeck or Umzindo around the area.
Yes, but you do. So that's all that you know. What you know is what you were told.
Yes.
Yes. Now, just to go back, when you started introducing this whole thing in relation to Mr. The gentleman, Mr. Mkhize and Mhlongo, on the 27th of August 2008, that would be on paragraph 23 of your statement, 5-5, Madam Chair.
And then, Chairperson?
You tell us at paragraph 25 that they had asked to be detained at Westville Prison. That would be paragraph 25. That would be at paragraph 25.
Yes, Chair.
And then you say, despite that arrangement being sanctioned by the magistrate, they were nonetheless taken to Cato Manor Station.
That is correct, Chairperson.
And that would be on the basis of an altered warrant of detention.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, you say that the investigation revealed that the magistrate had signed the warrant for them to be detained at Westville, and he or she had not altered it. The control prosecutor confirmed the detention at Westville, and the detention was, but then nonetheless, the warrant was altered by deleting the word Westville and substituting it with Cato Manor police cells. Do you see?
That's correct, Chairperson.
But would I be correct to say that you never saw the altered warrant yourself?
It was presented in court, and if maybe I can be given a chance to go and have this, because I know that Mr. House, who was my representative, he did produce this warrant of it was J something, can't get the term correct. This form that was altered, it did produce in court.
But did you were not part of the investigation that you referred to at paragraph 27?
The legal team, the team that was appointed by the Wamaphumulo Taxi Association, they are the ones who reported back to. Remember, if you have the legal team, they report to the organizations, the executive committee of the association, then the members of the executive, they come back and cascade that information back to the lower members of the association. So that's where we get to know that there is a team that was assigned to look into this matter.
Yes. So what you're telling us on the basis of the reports that you got?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. But the investigation never revealed who exactly altered the warrant.
We were told that it was Inspector or Captain Pandey is the one who altered the form.
Okay. Madam Chair, can I just have a few minutes just to make sure that I've traversed everything that I wanted to traverse with the witness?
Yes, thank you, Counsel. If I may just maybe follow up quickly. In relation to the altered detention warrant, are you taking issues with the fact that it was altered, or you are making a point as regard to who actually altered it? Who altered it? You don't take issue
Madam
with the
Chair.
fact that it was altered?
Yes. I just wanted to clarify with the witness as to who exactly does it know who altered it.
Yes, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Now, Mr. Mhlongo, the last issue that I want to traverse with you relates to the amanzi at Dubegile. Do you recall that part?
I recall, Chairperson.
Yes. And what we know is that you were not at the meeting.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And what you know is what Mr. Ngobo presented to you.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, let us look at, if I on the same band, Mr. Can I just ask that Annexure GSM 24 be made available to on the screen?
It's GSM
24.
24. Place on record what GSM 24 is.
Yes. Mr. Mhlongo, there's a document that will be beamed through to you. It's GSM 24. It's an affidavit made by Mr. Tengamandla Walter Ngobo, who I understand was the chairperson, I think after Mr. Mkhize was made it, of the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association. Do you recall that? Do you know him?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes.
That's correct. That's the guy that I've met last week on Thursday.
Yes. And he's the one that reported to you what happened at the meeting with Mr. Cele.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And just before we go to his statement, and you at paragraph 76, you tell us what your interpretation of the metaphor of what the statement by Mr. Cele, wherein it says amanzi adungekile izingwenya ziyathanda ukubhukuda kuwona. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
And then you say your understanding is that it to mean that in unstable or violent circumstances, aggressive action would follow. The statement was interpreted by KHA as contextualizing or justifying the police operations that had resulted in the deaths of our members. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
But let's look at what Mr. Ngobo interpreted Mr. Cele's statement at paragraph 13. And that would be on page 18-310, Madam Chair. At paragraph 13, Mr. Ngobo says, Mr. Begi Cele made it clear to us he just did not care about the death of our members. He boasted to us by saying that Amanzi Adungegele is... Madam Chair, can I just... My device just died on me. Can I just be given a few moments? But just to continue, I think you would see there he says... That's fine. I'm sorted. I don't want you to break it. Oh, there we go. Thank you. He says, Mr. Bekele made it clear to us that he just did not care about the death of our members. He boasted that, to use his words, Amanzi Adungegile izingwenya ziyathanda ukubhukuda kuwona. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
This meant that he was happy that his members were killing our members. Do you see that part?
That was his interpretation, Chairperson.
Yes. The point I was trying to make is that the statement itself can be interpreted differently, depending the position from which one interprets it. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you, Chairperson.
Yes. So the interpretation that you accord is different from the interpretation that Mr. Ngobo accorded to the statement.
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, the point is, so therefore you agreed to me that Mr. Cele's statement might also have interpreted the statement differently.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes.
But in a context that he was saying this, if we can go further than that, if you can go to paragraph 79, you see that as we left, Mr. Cele marked, you must remember this is war. What the war does, it kills people.
Aren't we rather speculating of what Mr. Cele would probably have interpreted the words to mean? Should we go there, Council, on that route of speculation?
Madam Chair, that will be our submission at the end of the day, that the interpretation that is given is speculative. Everyone is speculating about what Mr. Cele would have said, meant, basically.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying to you, based on your statement or your comment to the witness, that Mr. Cele, given the fact that Mr. Mhlongo and Mr. Ngobo seem to be interpreting the phrase differently, and you suggest that even Mr. Cele may interpret the words differently. Is that what you're saying?
That could be so, yes, Madam Chair.
Which is speculative because we actually don't know. At least we know what these two witnesses are saying, what meaning they attribute to the phrase. But as regards Mr. Cele, you are mentioning this speculation that I'm wondering whether we need to go there. Has he consulted with you to tell you that he understood the words to mean something different? Because otherwise it's pure speculation as regards Mr. Cele. Do you want to persist with that?
Madam Chair, I have not spoken to Mr. Cele and we had not lined him up. But the point that we simply said this so that I can show the witness that the phrase, I may not insist on what Mr. Cele might say, but the argument we intend making is that the phrase can be interpreted differently and it may not mean what the witness means, interpreted to mean. That might be the witness's own subjective interpretation.
You may proceed.
Yes. In fact, Madam Chair, on that note, I think I have covered everything that I wanted to cover with the witness. Mr. Mhlongo, thank you for your time and your cooperation.
Thank you so much, Chair.
just on that point, Councillor, you remember the meaning attributed to the phrase by Advocate Maema. I'm not sure whether you were in the hearing chamber that time.
I was always here, Madam Chair.
You were here. And you remember what he attributed these words to mean in Zulu? And we engaged with him.
I would have to relook at the
You can
record.
look at the transcript.
Yes. So I'm unfortunately I'm unable to. But even on that, Mr. Maema had his own interpretation as well.
Well, you have to look at the transcript.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Councillor. Is that all?
That will be all from our side, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Advocate Gauteng.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mhlongo, can I ask you to go back to that statement of Mr. Matonsi?
If you can fly to Chairperson, because it's not in my
Yes,
possession.
Of course.
His council is GSM
23. GSM 23.
23. Mr. Maema's bundle.
Yes.
Advocate Maema's bundle.
Do you have it in front of you, Mr. Mhlongo?
Yes, it is appearing on the screen here, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, the problem is I don't know whether the evidence leaders are going to rely on the statement or whether they will rely on certain portions. But I think that if there will be any reliance on it, the full statement must be relied upon. Now, starting at paragraph 2 of that statement, he explains who he is. Year 2004, I was employed by Excalibur VIP Protection, guarding the taxi rank of Stenger. Is that correct? Do you know who Mr. Matonsi is at all?
No, I never met him. I don't know him.
Okay, well, he describes himself as having been a guard for Stenger, and Stenger is also known as Kwadukuza, because if you look there in brackets, Stenger Taxi Association, it's putting in brackets Kwadukuza Taxi Association. So that would be correct, isn't it?
That's correct, Chairperson. As I have alluded before, that this association, it used these two names intertwined to say it's a Stenger and Kwadukuza. The reasons for that is because the town, which is Kwadukuza now, previously was called Stenger. So they are using the name of the town to say it's Stenger and Kwadukuza.
Yes. And then he continues about his mandate. My mandate was to guard the rank. The owner of the company was Mr. Andre van der Biel, and that's presumably Excalibur. Then it says the contract expired year 2005, the contract given to Pentagon, VIP Protection, and the owner was Mr. Anwar Khan. My mandate was to give protection to Mr. Ngobo Mapoloba. Do you know who Mr. Ngobo was?
Yes, I know him. His name is Biziwe Ngobo. He was the deputy chairperson or the treasurer of the Stenger Taxi Association, but he's still alive. I know that for a fact.
Yes, so that seems to also be true. Who was the vice chairman of the Stenger Taxi Association? Chairman of the association was Mr. Kanyile. I gave protection in the year 2005. Do you also know who Mr. Kanyile was?
Yes, he's late now, but I know him.
Yes. Now, in paragraph 3, he says, sometimes I was also given the task to guard Mr. Bibi Gwala. Do you know him?
Yes, I know Mr. Gwala, yes.
Yes, so that also seems to be accurate in relation to what he says. And who was he?
Mr. Gwala, I believe during the time of 2004, he was not a member of the executive committee, but he was upgraded to the member of the committee around 2011, 2012. As a PRO, then he was moved to be the chairperson around 2016, 2017. Then he was recalled.
Of Stenger.
That's correct, Chairperson.
And it says, I was close to all executive members of the association. I was a trustee to all executive members of the association. Even when they plan to do something wrong, like hire a hitman to kill someone, they will discuss in my presence. Some of the members of the association were close to the unit called Ketomano. These members were Sanele Zondi and Bongeleni Zondi, who was a member of the Ketomano unit. Do you know these people, Sanele Zondi and Bongeleni Zondi?
I think Sanele, he used to be the chairperson. He's late now. He was gunned down sometimes late last year or early last year. And Mbongeleni, I would think, is relating to the late Mbongeleni Wellington Zondi, who was the chief who was killed at Umlas.
Yes, but he was also a member of Ketomano unit. At the point here about this paragraph 3, he says that his association was close to the unit called Ketomano unit. Is that also in accordance with your understanding?
That's what we've always said. If you can go through the documents as part of the documents that was sent to the high authority, because the Mapumulo have been having this issue of Ketomana only taking a side. And as I have said in my previous statements or earlier in my testimony, that the problem was that the only one side was killed and the other side was not killed. And I've made an example, if you can remember, Chair, of Mr. Ntembu, who was the municipal manager at Watuhuza, who was killed, and there was no one who was arrested or killed. But the rumor on the street was that he was killed by the Watuhuza Taxi Owner Association.
Yes, now just to come back to the question I was asking, the testimony that he's giving in paragraph 3 is that Stenga Taxi Association were close to the Ketomano unit. Is that also consistent with your understanding?
That's condescension.
Yes, now he goes on in paragraph 4. Bongeleni Zondi, that is the person you assume is referring to as Inkosi Zondi, had a taxi within Stenga Taxi Association. Right? So he's a policeman, but he also has a taxi in Stenga Taxi Association. The taxi were registered under his younger brother, Sanele. Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Yes. Do you have any comment on that?
It can be true, but it will be hard for me to prove it because it's something that might happen between the two people, so it's going to be hard for us to prove it, for me to prove it, sorry.
No, I understand, but I'm saying that the same Mr. Matonsi, whose testimony is put to you by the evidence leaders, also testified of the close relationship between Ketomano and Stenga, and also testified that Mr. Zondi, the gentleman who was killed, in fact did have taxes under Stenga, but they were under his younger brother, Sanel. But as you say, you wouldn't be able to testify on that. But let's look further. He says, somewhere in 2007, I accompanied Sanele Zondi and Bongesiwe Mhlongo to meet Mr. Mostert and now General Boyce. Can you see that?
I can see that, but I think we have to correct, it's not Bongisizwe, it's Bongizwe.
It says Bongiswe. It should be Bongizwe.
It should be Bongizwe, not Bongiswe.
All right. Thank you very much. But who are these people, Bongizwe Mhlongo, Sanele Zondi?
Bongizwe, he was a member of the executive committee. I believe he was a PRO of the Stenga Taxi Association during the time, and Sanele, he ended up being the chair after the passing of Mr. Kanyele.
So these are senior officials of the Stenga Taxi Association, Mr. Zondi and Mr. Mhlongo.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, what Mr. Matonzi is saying is that he was present in 2007 when these two gentlemen met Mr. Mostert. Do you know Mr. Mostert?
Yes, I know him.
Who is he?
He is one of the police officers from Ketomana unit.
And General Boyson, everyone knows who he is. He was at one point in charge of the unit, and then he went to the province. So where we are right now is in 2007, according to Mr. Matonzi, Mr. Zondi, Mr. Mhlongo have met Inspector Mostert and Major General Boyson. Now, he explains what happens in that meeting. He says the meeting place was near Gateway Shopping Mall by the Shell garage behind Private Hospital. After the meeting, I heard their conversation about what was the meeting all about. Sanele and Bongizwe wanted Mostert and Boysen to cover up if police want to arrest members of Stenger Taxi Association. Let's stop there. Do you have any comment on that? He says he witnessed this meeting and he had the conversation when they reported to each other about what it was about. But the gist of it was that the Stenger officials wanted Cato Manu to cover up for them if the Stenger people have been arrested. Do you have any comment on that?
I think it can be. It's possible, because if you can look at all the cases from 2004 up until 2012 or 2013, or go further than that to 2017 or 2019, you will realize there's so many people who were killed in both associations, but there was no one who was ever been taken or questioned by the Ketomena from the Wadogoza side or Stenger State Association side. So that will tell you that they had a very close relationship with them. If for this time and people are being killed in both sides, but you only persuading people from one side and the other you are not paying attention to.
Yes, and then he continues, Sanele and Bongizwe were untouchables because they had senior officers on their side. The day of the meeting, Sanele said the executive have to pay money to Cato Mano unit senior officers, referring to Mostert and Boysen that they met. So again, Mr. Matonzi says on that day in 2007, the decision of the executive of Stenger was to give money to Mr. Mostert and Mr. Boysen. Do you have any comment on that?
That can be possible. That can be possible, because if you speak to the members of the Stenger Taxi Association, they will tell you that a lot of money were collected during that time. So maybe they will know, or maybe they were told, because when I was not part of them. But if maybe we can find any one of them. But as Mr. Matonzi is saying, he was in the better position to narrate this story.
Yes. And in paragraph 6, after a week, I was called to accompany Sanele and Bongizwe. We went to the Gateway shopping mall of McDonald Parking. Bongizwe had an envelope containing money. It was notes inside upon arrival. So now what he's saying is that, look, we collected, the executive decided money must be paid to Cato Manu. Then a week later, he is part of this trip to Gateway shopping mall. And there is an envelope which contains money inside. Can you see that?
I can see that, Chairperson.
He then says, we met now General Boysen and Mostert. Two senior officers were traveling in a grey BMW 5 Series. The driver was Mostert. Boysen was on the passenger seated left front. There were two in the BMW car. So now he says, well, we've arrived here and we find Mr. Boysen and Mr. Mostert in a BMW 5 Series. And then Bongizwe and Sanele got out and went straight to the BMW. Bongizwe had the same envelope containing cash, says contained cash. I did not know how much it was, and it was a lot. Sanele and Bongizwe remained in the car, BMW, for about 45 minutes to an hour. In the process, there was a conflict between Stenger Taxi Association and Maphumulo Taxi Association. According to my knowledge, during those years I was there, nobody from Stenger Taxi Association was either arrested or killed by Cato Manu unit. What do you say about that?
That's what I have been saying, Chairperson, that if you see the sequence and the pattern of how they were doing things, I've made a reference to this a couple of times to say there is no one that can be pointed to say he came from Ketomena or he was being arrested by Ketomena or killed by the Ketomena unit for the last 20 years.
Yes, and then...
or even more.
Thank you very much. And then he explains the situation of Superintendent Konto. paragraph 9, it says the only police officer who was a threat to Stenga Taxi Association was the superintendent, Chongo. According to the association, Chongo was a straight police officer. Chongo did not take bribery from either Stenga or Maphumulo Taxi Association. If somebody committed murder relating to taxes, he would go out and arrest the suspect without involving the Ketomano unit. Without involving Ketomano unit, was not happy with Superintendent Chongo. I presume that means the Ketomano unit was not happy with Superintendent Chongo. Sanele and Bongizwe were not happy too with Chongo. I heard them, Sanele and Bongizwe, saying Chongo was a trouble and they will talk to senior officers, referring to Boysen and Mostert, to sort him, Chongo. Do you have any comment on this? What he's saying is, that, look, the killing of Chongo is also to be traced back to Ketomano and Stenga.
That is possible, Chair. Remember, we on these documents we have seen that Swayo and Gedwane was in the positions of, was in position of the police, but they ended up taking them for questioning of the murder of Chongo while these two they were with them. It tells you that there was a plan for them in order for them, Gedwane and Swayo, to implicate certain individuals. And unfortunately, what happened thereafter, it was a lot of life were lost.
Yes. Now, then paragraph 10, which I think is one of the paragraphs you were referred to, says, I had them. Now, the them there is talking about is talking about Sanele and Bongizwe. He says, I had them talking about the plan to kill Superintendent Chongo. Sanele and Bongizwe arranged with someone who was a member of Maphumulo Taxi Association to organize a hitman for Chongo. Sanele and Bongizwe did not want to arrange or hire a hitman themselves. They, Sanele and Bongizwe, wanted it to be seen as Maphumulo are the ones who planned the killing of Superintendent Chongo. Hitmen for Chongo were Kopolota, Lee, Mtembu, Swayo, and others. Now that's where the whole point was made, that it looks like Swayo had been hired as a hitman by Sanele and Bongizwe on behalf of Stenga Taxi Association, intentionally having been drawn from Maphumulo to create a false impression. Do you want to comment on that?
I can comment, Chair, because it's paining, because as I have said before, Swayo was not anywhere in position of being a hitman on the day, because he was in police custody. So it can't be that he was in police custody, then he's killing someone at the same time. That was really impossible. The others, I could not comment because I was not with them on the day, but I know that thereafter they were all killed, as they have been mentioned in this paragraph.
Yes. But I mean, I suppose theoretically it's possible that in the discussion between Sanele and Bongizwe, Swayo's name could have been mentioned, but that doesn't mean he was a hitman, because he was in detention at the time of the killing.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now then, paragraph 11 says, Ketomano unit was also part of the plan. Now the plan that is being referenced there is the plan mentioned in paragraph 10, which is the plan to kill Superintendent Chongo, correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now Chongo was gunned down. After the killing of Chongo, Ketomano started to kill all hitmen behind the killing of Chongo. I heard Sanele saying he had a list of all people that need to be killed by Ketomano. Now Sanele, we remember, is from Stenga. He has a list that must be killed by Ketomano. Is that correct according to the statement?
That's correct, Chairperson. And that list, it was leaked to one of the police, and it was that police gave to Mr. Mkhize. Then he mentioned that list that he had, and he know that there is a list, as we've seen in one of on the documents, that names were mentioned, and those names are all the people that definitely were killed.
Yes. Then it continues. Bongani Mkhize, that's the person you were talking about, was a chairman of Maphumulo Taxi Association. He was also on the hit list, and he was the last person to be killed. I suppose when he says last person, he means last person to be killed in relation to Senior Superintendent Chauke, because the killings began again in January 2009, after the 22nd, which is the day that Nkosi Zondi was killed. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And then he says it was difficult for Cato Mano to get Mkhize because of the reporting Mkhize did to high authorities. Do you know what this is referring to?
I think he was referring to the letter that was read, which is at SM5.
Yes, the application to court and the letters to
That's correct. Yes.
to the minister.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. And paragraph 12, which is the paragraph that was read out. During my time, I was told that at Msinga homestead of Sanel and his brother Nkosi Chief Bongeleni Zondi, there was a hotel, home affairs, and game reserve. Office park around their homestead was named after Bongeleni Zondi. I think even today the office named after Bongeleni Zondi. Bongeleni was the acting chief. Bongeleni was about to be given the position to be the full-time chief. Sanele was not happy with that. Sanele used to complain to me that he was not happy because Bongeleni was about to be given the position to be chief. Now the Sanele referenced here is a man from Stenga, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. And it looks like there is another theory that there is a dispute about chieftaincy.
That's correct, Chairperson, if you read this paragraph.
Yes. But it seems to be an additional theory to what Stenga and Ketumano were planning, which is referenced in paragraph 9, 10, and 11 of the statement.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes.
Is in relation to Superintendent Kondo.
In relation to Mr. Zondi. This
Yes.
is now about the killing of Mr. Zondi. That's why I'm saying it's a different theory to what we were dealing with before.
Yes, the earlier one is in relation to
Superintendent
Kondo.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes. Now, Mr. Mhlongo, do you want to comment on the question by the chair? I mean, just to make it clear that we were dealing in 9, 10, and 11 with the killing of Superintendent Kondo. We are now dealing with the killing of Nkosi Zondi.
Yes, Chair. I think this can be the true story of what happened, because even today, we don't know who killed Nkosi Zondi. It's still a mystery. And according to the investigating officer, there were fingerprints that were picked up from the vehicle that was in the crime scene. But who are those people and why they were not brought to court to answer who sent them to kill the Nkosi Zondi? So in that context, I would think what the statement is saying, it needs to be looked at.
Yes, the point in relation to that paragraph 12, read in conjunction with paragraph 9, is that as far as Sanele's involvement, as mentioned in paragraph 9, is about the planning in relation to the killing of Superintendent Kondo, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
And Sanele was involved in that planning. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding, Chair.
Now, Council is making another point in relation to paragraph 12 regarding the killing or the planning of killing Nkosi Zondi. And he mentions that there appears to have been an issue about the chieftaincy, which Sanele was not happy about. Do you understand?
I understand that, Chairperson. Yes, it is. If you read this paragraph 12, it suggests that the chief, or Mr. Mbongoleni Zondi, he was about to be given a full-time position of being a chief, and maybe Mr. Zondi or Mr. Sanele Zondi as well was looking into that, maybe having a wish or a prospect of being a chief as well. So it brings another spin on what might be the reason of the chief being killed.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now we come then to paragraph 13, which was also read out. Now, you've now seen all of the full context of what he was talking about. But he then says the Chief Bongeleni Zondi was gunned down. We know Mr. Zondi was shot and killed on the 22nd of January 2009 between 7 and 8 a.m. In the Z section of Umlazi. Then he says Swayo was arrested and granted bail. Now that you've also confirmed, is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. Within a short period, Swayo was gunned down too. In other words, Swayo is also killed during the period when he was on bail. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, which is one of the oddities of this issue, because you were challenged by the evidence leader that did you ever see a judgment in which the statement of Mr. Swayo was declared inadmissible? And your answer was he never went to trial because he was killed during the bail proceedings. I mean, once he was out on bail proceedings, that's when he was killed, so he never went to trial. But he had, in the application for bail, written a statement which was used in court in your own trial. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, your point is that when he was killed after being released on bail, that could be linked to the fact that he retracted the false confession. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, it's in this context that the words in the brackets appear. He says, I heard saying, Ngaishaya Inkabi, Yakala Mjondo, meaning hit the hitman and cried inside the shack, referring to Swayo, who was killed inside the shack. So it's not Swayo killing a person, it is Swayo being killed that they're talking about here. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. So it's unclear to me what point is being made that Swayo could in fact have correctly confessed to have been responsible for the killing of the chief.
No, Madam Chair, I think, if I might just interject, we never said that Swayo was. I said that it was the reference was made in the context to say that Swayo. There's no evidence that Swayo was killed by the Cato men. The reference that the person who was being shot in the Mjondolo was reference to Swayo, not Swayo hitting someone else in the Mjondolo.
In other words, you are in agreement with what counsel is now saying.
Yes. But
what he's reading there.
Yes. But I just want to contextualize that the question was not to mean that Swayo was the one killing someone. It was in relation to the point I wanted to make was that, according to Matonzi, it was not the Cato Mena that killed Swayo because he said he blamed the Cato Mena.
Yes. I'm not sure whether I understand, but Advocate Gatobi?
Yeah, yes. No, I appreciate.
Do you wish to persist with that? Because I think if the reading of paragraph 13 is what you understand it to mean, and Advocate Mtsweni also understand it to mean exactly what you say, that should close the issue.
Yes, no, I appreciate my learned friend's correction.
Thank
so
you.
I'll leave the question to move to the next one.
Yes, thank you.
Now, in paragraph 14, the affidavit says money was collected at the rank Stenger taxi rank to pay Katomano unit. Can you see that?
I can see that, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, and that is after the killing of Swayo. Sanele orchestrated the killing of Bongani Mkhize. Now, Sanele, as you have pointed out, is in the executive of Stenger. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
And he is the one fingered by Mr. Matons as having orchestrated the killing of Bongani Mkhize.
That's correct, Chair.
Yes, and it says somebody was given the task to phone Brigadier Madonsela that Bongani Mkhize was planning to kill Mandla and Ngaba and Bekicele. Do you know these people, Mandla and Ngaba? We know who Bekicele is.
I think it's one person, it's Mandla Tsaba. I think he's one of well-known business persons here in KZN. He comes from the Gaba family. He played a role at some point in trying to resolve the conflict between these two associations. So I don't know how it comes that he wanted to be killed, because he was never involved in anything to be in favor of anyone, because he was trying to resolve the conflict between these two associations.
No, I think the statement is not that he was meant to be killed, but that an impression was supposed to be created that he is a target for killing.
That's correct. If you read the statement.
Yes. And then it says, this is now what is coming in the next sentence. Sanele wanted the police to think that Bongani Mkhize was a troublemaker who killed Chonco, and now was planning to kill Mandla Gcaba and Bheki Cele. Within a short period, Bongani Mkhize was killed by the Ketomano unit. Money was collected at Ketomano, was paid for a job well done. I was not there when the money was paid to Ketomano. I heard that Ketomano paid Bongani Mkhize, should have been killed long time back. He was most of the time he escaped. Ketomano will phone Sanele and give the report that they missed him. So, although he says he was not there when the money was transferred, he was there when the money was collected and the purpose was to pay for Ketomano. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. If this statement, it's true. It's said that as I've said that the police have been used for the longest time, and as I have mentioned before, it's said that the person can be killed without following the proper and investigation being done that he has really maybe committed those crimes or wanting to commit those crimes.
Yes. Well, I mean, the point is that if a paragraph from the statement is put to you, then it's got to be clear that that is the case of the evidence leaders. Then the full statement is part and parcel of that case. It can't be cherry-picked.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Can I ask you about something else? You know, there was a discussion between you and the evidence leader about the meaning attributed to the phrase "amanzi atungekile ingwenya zibhukuda kuwona." I mean, is there any controversy about the literal meaning of that phrase? Is there any dispute what the literal meaning is? Because anyone who vaguely understands Zulu knows what the literal meaning is.
I don't know what might be the reason of not understanding the way I have interpreted it. But for me, it meant what I have said. When the water are muddy, crocodile enjoy swimming in them. And for me, that means you can't swim with a crocodile. If you swim with a crocodile, it will bite you. It will kill you. So for me, that was my understanding of this statement that was made by Mr. Nzale.
Yes, but if you forget about the figurative and the literal meanings, the fact of the matter is, why did your association go to Mr. Bheki Cele? What was the reason?
It was because people were killed.
Yes, but what did you want him to do?
The reasons was that, can you please intervene?
Yes.
Speak to your members. You're the person who's in charge of the community safety and liaison in the province. Can you maybe set up a meeting and iron things out between the police and the members of Kwamaphumu?
And did he do that?
No, it never happened.
Yes. Isn't that the really crucial issue? It's not about the literal meaning of the phrase that he used. It is whether or not he fulfilled his legal obligations when he was told that there is a real crisis of people being killed by police.
It is, Chairperson, that it was important for him to try, and even if he wanted to be biased, but for me, where I am sitting, it was important for him to convene a meeting, try and resolve and find the reasons of why there was this cry from the members of Kwamapumi.
Yes. Thank you. I think I must just get one second, Madam Chair. I think I'm finished with my questions. Yes, there's one more point, Madam Chair. Thank you. Mr. Mhlongo, can I ask you to go to page 5A 160?
5A 160. I'm there, Chair.
Yes, now this is the discussion in the cross-examination of Mr. Zungu, who was being cross-examined by Mr. Housey, your counsel, about whether or not Swayom Kiza had retracted the confession that was beaten out of him prior to his death or not. And your evidence earlier was that you were present in court when this debate took place. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, if you go to line 10, can you see line 10?
Correct, Chair.
Yes. Now, the
Yes,
line
I'm there, Chair.
immediately thereafter, your advocate puts to Mr. Zungu the following. He says, and then a confession was taken from Swayom Kiza. Can you see that?
I can see that, Chair.
Yes. And then it says, well, I think it was also a pointing out. A pointing out was done by Swayom Kiza, accompanied by a statement on 2 February 2009, right? Then Mr. Zungu says, if I can recall, my lord, the confession, yes, was done by Mr. Swayom Kiza. Then the advocate says, and you will also remember, warrant officer, that the moment Swayom Kiza was in the sanctity of a courtroom, he immediately said that that was a forced pointing out and confession. Then the witness says, I heard that, my lord, on bail application at Umlazi. Then it continues, yes, and he stated in that affidavit on oath prior to his death. And then it says, yes, I've seen that, my lord. Can you see that?
I can see that, Chairperson.
So does this assist to jog your memory that, in fact, the so-called confession was retracted in court on the in the bail proceedings? Your bail proceedings were what, on the 5th of February 2009?
It was later than that. On the 5th, it was the first appearance. The application was done a little bit later. I think it was a week later. Yes, there was an affidavit which was prepared and signed by Swayom to say that he retracted all what he has said. I was not part of the people who was involved in the killing of Inkosi Zondi.
Yes, but the point is that this was done already in February 2009. The entire hierarchy of the police knew in February 2009 that that confession had been retracted.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Yes. Now that comes back to this thing that we have a book written by Mr. Boysen many, many years later that does not refer to the retraction of the confession and pretends as if the killing of Mr. Bongani Mkhize was justified by the confession that was made by Mr. Swayom when he knows that it was retracted in open court in February 2009. Do you have any comment on that?
They should have briefed him. He can't just say he don't know about it because it was happening in open court, and I believe Zungu and the team should have informed him of what has transpired in court, or even give him the transcript of what has happened in that court.
Yes. And the last thing is that you were told at the commencement of the questioning that no one was charged in relation to your specific case, your assault and your torture. I think it's common cause that no one was charged.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Can I ask you, who was supposed to charge them?
It should be the person responsible for, or the head of the department.
Which department?
The police department.
Yes, that's exactly correct. So to now be asked, no one was charged in relation to your torture, when the police who should have charged the persons who tortured you never did their work. Doesn't that simply confirm the problem you've been trying to outline? That these people have been doing this thing for more than 20 years. Even today, they are still putting your life at risk.
That's correct, Chairperson. That is what I was trying to put through to the leading council to say, really, for me, it's impossible to have or to tell the police what to do. But if you are a manager managing a unit or any other entity, you know your duties. If someone has gone wrong, you should take a disciplinary action against those individuals.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have nothing further.
Mr. Mhlongo, it is on record that Mr. Cele was also approached to try to resolve this problem of the feud between KwaDukuza and KwaMaphumulo. Now, at the time when Mr. Cele was also brought in to assist, were you in the leadership of the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association?
No, Chairperson, I was not. I was only in the lower structures of the association. I was only responsible for the disciplinary of the two associations in the long distance routes for these two associations, because we're just forging the relationship between the two. But I was not in the structures, formal structures of the leadership of the association.
While in that position, you would nevertheless be able to observe or see if there are any steps that were taken by the political head to try and resolve this feud.
Chair, even in our current situation, if there are issues like here today, I'm appearing in this commission, that will be, I will have to go and make a report to the members of the association to say, I have appeared here, this what happened in this meeting, so that everyone will have the same understanding. So even during those times, if there was a meeting between the executive committee of the association, a general meeting will be called, and the executive committee will cascade this information to the members of the association so that we all have the similar understanding.
Are there any steps or some meaningful steps that came to your attention as having been undertaken by Mr. Cele to try to quell this feud?
There is none, Chairperson, that I know of.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Mhlongo, I just want us to go back to one aspect that I think we need to clarify further in relation to the confession or the alleged confession by Mr. Swayo. Counsel Advocate Andrew referred you to 5A-160. That reflects the retraction of the confession by Mr. Swayo as per the evidence of Mr. Zungu. Do you remember?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, in relation to that point, and I think in fairness to the evidence leader, Advocate Mchweni, my recollection of his question was that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, he was saying to you, are you aware of any decision or judgment in relation to which the confession of Mr. Swayo was considered or found to be inadmissible. Do you remember?
I remember that.
Now, counsel referred you to paragraph 13 of the statement of Mr. Matonzi. Do you remember?
I remember that.
That shows that actually Mr. Swayo was gunned down when he was on bail, correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Doesn't it then follow that there could not have been any decision or judgment regarding that confession because he was killed whilst he was on bail?
That is correct, Chairperson.
And have you been consulted or have you met any of the prosecutors in KZN following your criminal case or the finalization of your criminal case?
No,
I remember you said that after the conclusion of your criminal case, you relocated from KZN.
correct, Chairperson.
Is my recollection correct? Is my recollection correct, Mr. Mhlongo?
It's looked like an internet problem.
Maybe the system would like me to stop with my questions. We're just before lunchtime, so we can utilize these few minutes to clarify a few issues. Do you hear me, Mr. Mhlongo?
I can hear you, Chair.
You can hear me.
At the bottom. I can hear you, Chair.
Yes, I just wanted to hear from you. After the finalization of your criminal matter, you said you relocated from KZN. Am I correct?
That is correct, Chairperson.
And since then, have you ever been been consulted, or have you had a meeting with any of the prosecutors in KZN?
No, there was no meeting between myself and any prosecutor in KZN.
Never. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Koitobi, Advocate Mchene, I suppose that that brings us to the end of the testimony of this witness. Am I right? Do you have anything?
No, there's nothing from our side.
Nothing from us, Madam Chair.
Let me take this opportunity, Mr. Mhlongo, to thank you on behalf of the panel, the evidence leaders, and the team of Advocate Chauke for having come to testify before this inquiry.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. It's really appreciated, and I humble myself to be offered this opportunity.
We are indebted to you. We will deal with your evidence to the extent it is relevant and necessary when we prepare the report for the President.
Thank you.
We thank you, sir, and you are excused.
Thank you.
Advocate Koitobi, housekeeping matters.
Yes, Madam Chair. Could I request that we address the panel now during the adjournment, but in chambers? We've changed the plan a little bit. We had 3 witnesses to call, but we think given the time and the comments made yesterday, particularly by Ms. Baloymere SC, that we should expedite matters up and call Mr. Chauke, but we want to discuss that privately.
Yes, thank you. Advocate Baloymere SC was expressing ourselves.
I suspected.
I'm told I must be on record. Advocate Kwetobi, I was saying that Advocate Baloymere SC was yesterday, as she was doing housekeeping, was addressing our sentiments as the panel. It is sometimes very easy for me to send someone around. Yes, thank you, Council. Let me just confer with my colleagues. Yes, thank you. Advocate Mchene, we are requested to have a discussion in chambers. Are you opposed to that?
No, Madam Chair, I would never be opposed to that.
It's always better to do housekeeping in the room and discuss all family issues in chambers. Yes, thank you, Council. We will adjourn, and as soon as you are ready, you can follow us in chambers, and then you can have a discussion.
Madam Chair, are we going to come back here, or are we in relation to the rulings going forward, such as the adjournment of the matter to either tomorrow or whatever day?
Well, we don't know what Council is going to talk to us about in chambers, so we cannot anticipate. Even need arises, we'll come back and say whatever needs to be said in an open hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We will adjourn until further notice. Good afternoon, everyone. Advocate Nkabinde, you can confirm our discussions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have decided to call Mr. Chauke next. His statement is not ready. It will be ready tomorrow at 12 p.m. when it will be circulated. We have requested the consent of the panel to commence the proceedings on Thursday at the usual time, 9 a.m. We've spoken to our learned friends and they do not object. So we would request then a directive that the matter is postponed